Hallo, ek is E.T. Welkom by my kanaal waar ons als saam doen. Die kappie situasie kan ingewikkeld raak, maar ek gaan my bes probeer om dit so duidelik as moontlik te maak. In Afrikaans het ons verskeie skryftekens. Die kappie. In Afrikaans, we call this sign above any letter a kappie. And the specific one you see here, when it's above the letter E, it's called Kappie ear. Kappie ear. Top right, you'll see Alt 136. That is the shortcut on a keyboard. You hold in Alt and then type 136 and it will write the letter Kappie ear. Kappie ear is probably the most important kappie letter in Afrikaans. It is definitely the one we use most often, and it appears in most of our words that contain kappies. The job of the kappie is to change the pronunciation of the letter. So if it's above a letter E, it changes the pronunciation. Now, before I tell you how it changes the pronunciation, it's important to note that the kappie changes the letter that it's above, all of the letters that it can be above in the Afrikaans language, in the same way. The job of the kappie is to extend the sound of the letter. So if it's above the letter E, then it will just elongate the sound that it would have without the kappie. So it doesn't do anything else, it's just stretching out the sound a little bit more. So if you look at the example that I've given on the left, you'll see there is a e, which is the letter's pronunciation without the kappie. So it's e, but then if the kappie is on top of the letter, it becomes e. So the mouth shape does not change. The mouth shape stays the same, but the breath that then follows once you've done the shape, that is elongated to stretch out that sound. So it's e, and then it becomes e. Now, this is not to be confused with the vowel double e or double e. The vowel that's given there at the bottom, the two e's following each other, that is ear. So you see my mouth shape is now different. It's e, and then it becomes ear. So those three have different sounds. So this is important to learn. This is how the pronunciation of these letters differ in Afrikaans. Let's look at a few kappie words in Afrikaans. As I said, e is one of the most important, if not the most important, kappie letter in Afrikaans, and it therefore appears in a lot of our words that contain the kappie. But it's also important to remember that there are exceptions. So please do not always go on how it sounds, because in Afrikaans, it often happens that it sounds like one thing, but it's written completely different, and it's just not following the rule that you've just learned. So I would say learn these words and their spellings by memory. Make sure, because I'll show you now that the exceptions are just really exceptionally confusing. So learn the spelling. Do not always go on what you hear, because often that is not the case. So let's look at the first word, se. Se is very important because that is the word for to say or saying in Afrikaans, and it's used very often. So learn se. If it doesn't have the kappie, it's pronounced as se, which is also used very often. So both those you really have to learn. Se, important. The next one is le, Afrikaans word for lying down, like lying down on the bed or lying down on the grass, le. And then lar, there the change is on the first letter, so that is a bit confusing. That would have been, we also have a word leer, which is a ladder or to learn, but then if you put the kappie on the first e, it becomes lar, and that is a file or a folder, mostly a file. It could be a file on the PC, or it could be a file, a physical file in your cupboard. And then scar, which is a pair of scissors, important one. And then we have arends, and just below that one, Nærens. Arens is somewhere and nærens is nowhere. And then we have blaar, blaar. And that is the sound that a sheep or a goat makes. It's bleat, to bleat, blaar. And then the last one is wêreld. Wêreld, which is the Afrikaans word for world, and another important one to know. Now, if you look in the green block below, there's a word that looks like ver, but is pronounced ver. And ver sounds exactly like it should have a kappie e, but it doesn't. It does not have a kappie. It is written without a kappie. And by itself like this, it means far. So far away, or traveling far, or we far from something. That is ver. But this exact same one, ver, is also used in other words where it's attached to something, and then it's pronounced as ver. Vervolg, verwerp, which is very confusing because you would now think, well, by itself it's pronounced ver, shouldn't it have a kappie? It does not have a kappie. Ver by itself is ver, and then when it's attached to something else it becomes ver, but it's spelled exactly the same. So there is a little bit of an exception that probably will be in some of my following videos as well. Moving along to kappie oor. Kappie oor. This is the second most important kappie letter in Afrikaans, and it is just the o that now has a kappie, and it changes how it sounds. So here we have the changes. Looking on my left, we have o, which then changes to o, same shape, just longer when it has a kappie. And at the bottom there's again the double vowel, which is o, or the tweeklank, as we call it in Afrikaans, and that one's pronounced oo. So my mouth shape is different. So we have o, and then oo. You have to listen to that one a couple of times. It is also an important letter because it is in the word môre. Môre. Now, môre by itself means tomorrow. Tomorrow. Môre. But if it's used in combination with goeie môre, that means good morning. But the real Afrikaans word for morning is oggend. Oggend. So do not confuse the situation. Goeiemôre means good morning. That's correct. But môre by itself means tomorrow. And we do use it a lot. Now we get to kappie e. Kappie e. It's not used nearly as often as kappie e and kappie o, but it does exist. So this changes e to and then below you'll see the tweeklank, which is the two U's next to each other, and that is pronounced as E. So we have and E. And then the example is brug, which is the singular for a bridge, and then bruh. So you pronounce the bruh, and then the e at the back becomes bruh, and that is the plural for bridges. Kappie is not used often in Afrikaans, but it appears once or twice here and there. So let's look at kappie. It is and then the kappie changes it to So if you look top right, you'll see we have the word wig, which is the singular for a wedge, and then we have the for the plural for wedges. So it is the, that would be the W and the kappie and then after that for the E. So the yeah. Alright, so I'm happy that we finally got around to looking at skryftekens, or at least the first skryfteken. There's another one following soon. So we've looked at the kappie, and soon we'll look at another one called the deelteken. But yes, I'm glad we got around to this one. I've been wanting to do this for a while now. So I hope this has helped you a little bit with the Afrikaans skryftekens. And I'll see you in the next video soon. Have a good day.